What's going on today, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Plugin Police, and today we'll be checking out Waves CR8 Sampler. It's a multi-layer creative sampler. Not only can you just use one layer, but you can use multiple to layer together a more complex sound. It automatically syncs key and BPM. You can change the speed of the playback by quite a large amount. It's got a lot more than a sampler probably should even really actually have. And it's integrated with Cosmos. I'm curious to see if this is any better than my other samplers. I really like Serato Sample. I'm not really a big user of multi-layer samplers because generally I don't really know what to do with them. I usually just sample one thing at a time. It's only $10, which is probably the cheapest thing I've ever reviewed on this channel, but I could definitely think of some ways this could be creative. I would consider this the Swiss Army tank of samplers. It can sample, it can multi-sample, it can layer, it can cut your bread. The only thing it can't do is granular sampling, and I'm okay with that because it has a million other options. It's already pretty overwhelming. Okay, so this is your first time opening it. What do you see? So you drop a sample in here, or you can search for one with the Cosmos, I don't know what the fuck it's called, sample finder. Double click on something and it'll bring it into the sampler. Let's drag in a vocal here. So as you can see, you can suggest the root key here for it and BPM. You can change back the algorithm type here. You guys get the idea. It's not super well, it is pretty complicated, but you know, it's for how complicated it is, it's pretty operational, I would say. And also, if you wanted to assign different samples to different parts of your MIDI, you can do that here. This is also fairly complicated, but I don't know if there's a way to do this that isn't going to be complicated. You can do weird stuff like this if you want. You can slow that down too. Not sure how I'd use that in a musical context. Perfect. Alright, so that's Truly Terrible. I'm going to show you guys some beats that I made with this. I made a couple things with it. Didn't really have time to walk you guys through the entire process while doing it like I do on some days. Okay, here's beat number 1. Everything's all frozen and flattened audio. So I sampled a chord that I found in CR8. It was like a piano chord, and I pitched it down. So here's what it was playing originally. After I played the keys with it. Then I sampled another instrument. This one was a guitar though. I made sure it was in the same key. They're both in F minor. And then I used Vital for a bass. That's one thing I made with it. And then this beat here, I used the presets that it came with. So this one sounds a little bit different. Oh god, I got snot all over my Ableton. So the first thing I laid down was MIDI chord progression, and then I picked out a pad. I picked out the Cadabra pad. I think I actually added my own layer. So originally it was just this. I added this one on there too. To make it a little bit worse, you know. No, to make it a little bit richer. Then I added in this melody here. It's called the Gentleman melody. I didn't change anything with this one. Actually, no, that's a lie. I actually used delay here. It's on a delay return. So there weren't really too many good bass sounds in here. So I used this like saw wave. Don't think that all the presets are like this because I had to actually search through basically all of them to find these decent ones. Pretty much most of the presets were not that good in my opinion. And like these were the only ones that I found that were able to work in the song. I actually would have preferred a different bass, but this was the only one I found that was okay. Which leads me to the next thing I want to talk about. The presets are pretty weak. It's $10, so I mean I wasn't really expecting to shit my pants. If you're buying this hoping to get like some new interesting preset sounds to bring into your tracks, you're going to be disappointed. This is more so like a creative sampler that hasn't really been used to its full potential yet. So it's up to you to do good sounds with it, is what I'm saying. I like the way it analyzes the keys of whatever sample you bring in, and it does a good job figuring out what key the root of it's supposed to be in the tempo and whatnot. I think it actually does that very effectively, and I like the different warp modes. It's really useful for a $10 sampler. Will it replace any synth I use? No. Will it replace some instances of samplers I use? Maybe. Yeah, I could see myself maybe using this for 808s, just samples in general. I actually generally use Serato sample, but what I like about that is it's a simple sampler and it's like a chopping sampler, so it's kind of different than this in that aspect. So I would probably still use that for sampling like melodic samples. It really depends on the use case though. Like if I'm trying to chop something up or if I'm trying to pitch it. Really interesting, but it's something just like Cosmos to have me really rethinking my workflow and how I approach things. So it makes it not the easiest to work with, but it definitely makes it creative. I'm really of the belief that having a different approach all the time really helps you stay in that creative mindset. Also, this is very similar to iZotope Iris. I'm not sure if Waves is just out here like, all right, who's plugging? Can we copy next? I haven't used Iris in like a decade. So, I mean, it's hard for me to really compare the two together. I know a lot of people suggest Iris, and I kind of have the same feelings about like, yeah, it's a cool sampler, but the presets were just kind of meh. I give Wave CR8 an 8 out of 10. It's really hard to figure out what score to give this, seeing as it's only $10. There are some things I really like about it, and there's some other things I don't really like about it, and I don't really care for. One of the things that I really like about it is how good of a job it does at analyzing key and BPM. The presets are kind of mid. I also think it's just not really providing anything that new. The only thing it's really providing is something more affordable. But I actually definitely recommend checking out Wave CR8 if you're interested in a sampler, a multi-sampler, a sampler with all the bells and whistles, really. For $9.99, you can't really go wrong. I'm not sure if there's a trial. I don't know if you really need a trial for $10. I mean, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of ridiculous to ask for a trial for something that's $10. Have you guys tried Wave CR8? What do you guys think about it? I'm gonna link it down in the description if you guys want to check that out. I'm your host, Weaver Beats. Make sure to check out my Discord, Twitter, Twitch. I stream every Thursday, Saturday, 1 p.m. PST. Bye.
The Band Incorporated.